This is John Chancellor on the floor. I'm looking down at Edwin Newman in the middle of a huge bunch of security people. How this got started, we don't know. Your microphone is broken, Ed. There's a lot of pushing. The man being pushed, watch it, they're going to knock that over. The man is a delegate.
Why you just leave him in here? Who? Check with our state chairman. He's an elected delegate. What are you trying to strong-arm stuff? He's an elected delegate. You are. Check with the delegate. Where are the rules that say we must show him every minute? Who the hell are you?
Are you the one they're trying to throw out?
Yes, I am.
Why are they trying to throw you out?
I object to their behavior.
You beg your pardon?
I object to their behavior.
Secret Service, push. He's an elected official.
They're shouting Secret Service push here, although we are told that these are anti-Frayne operatives, and nobody is wearing the usual insignia of the Secret Service. You going to do anything about this? Where's he from, that? What delegation?
New York.
How did it get started? Do you know?
They keep coming around all day checking our credentials, and it's time they stop. There is nothing in the rules of the Democratic Party that says they have a right to check us every 10 minutes. They have harassed us an entire day.
Well, whatever it is, and that's it, the issue is checking credentials too often. There is an awful mess in the aisle here between the South Dakota and New York delegations. Now, the men who work either for Andy Frayne or the Secret Service or the police or somebody, all these guards in civilian clothes have linked hands. And the New York delegation people are shouting across, trying to start some sort of They're asking for silence. There's a priest in here, dozens of reporters, and the man who got involved in it all is very calmly smoking a cigarette. His name is Alex Rosenman. He's a New York delegate. This is a perfect indication of the mood of this convention on the floor. Fractious and disputatious, discontented, annoyed, mad at the security forces and the police here.
Just another peaceful demonstration by New York, trying to demonstrate in Alabama.
Now, that's an Alabama delegate who has quite another view of it. But the issue of law and order seems to be taking place in rather active disputes on the floor of this convention. And that's the situation here. It hasn't changed. It's still bad. The police are now in the aisles here with billy clubs, clearing people out. They're not using them on people. They're carrying them, and they're dragging everybody right out of the aisle here. It's a terrific crush. About 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 policemen came in here, some of them wearing the blue helmets of the Chicago police force, and they are dragging out of here the people who were involved in this. One delegate from New York who objected to having his credentials checked by the police, a lot of people who rallied to his side, and a lot of spectators, including Edwin Newman. How are you, Ed?
Well, I'm all right, John. I was in it from the beginning. His name is Alex Rosenberg. He's from the west side of New York City. He said he had come in and shown his credentials, and he would not show them again, that he was being deprived of his constitutional rights. When they asked him to show his credentials, finally, as you saw, it came to this. At some point, my microphone was yanked out, and I couldn't broadcast anymore. But somebody pulled on the cord around his neck, and there didn't appear to be any credentials around it. Finally, the Chicago police came in and pulled him out.
He was identified as by a member of the New York delegation as a member of that delegation, and they're going out to settle this outside now. We're going to try to move down the aisle to see if we can follow it, but apparently he is outside the hall now. This is the first time in my memory of going to political conventions that the police have come in on the floor, armed as they were, and taken out people who were disputing the checking of credentials. Can you ever remember that, Ed?
No, I don't, John. I followed...
First time in the United States, John.
Back. All the time Rosenberg was being asked to show his credentials, and he refused. Finally, the security man who was with him asked an usher to get the Secret Service in. Then we saw some more security men come in, and then, as you saw, the police came in their helmets.
When you say Secret Service men. There are men here in civilian clothes who have apparently no identification which they show anybody.
Well, I take it that's who he meant. Anyway, I heard the security man ask an usher to get some Secret Service men, and whether they were Secret Service men who came before the police, I don't know, but there were some very large men who came along with security badges. Rosenberg claimed that he was within his rights to be on the floor. He said he wanted to go and ask some questions of other delegates. All the time the security man followed him, asking him to show that he was indeed a delegate. He was showing credit cards. He was showing all other kinds of cards, but he refused to show any credentials.
So he may, in fact, not be a delegate.
Well, I don't know that. I understand that the chairman of the New York delegation, Mr. Burns, was called in the middle of this crush and said, yes, he is a delegate.
Well, I think perhaps this is more illustrative of a general tone down here than it is of a specific case.
Yes, everybody extremely edgy. Rosenberg saying all the time to the security man, take your hands off me, take your hands off me, take your hands off me. And finally the security man called in the help with the result that we had a bit of chaos on the floor.
Well, it's chaos here, or it was chaos here in this aisle, with people still arguing violently about this case, and I'm not sure, Ed, how much more we can add to it at this. I don't know if we can get in there.
No, I'm sure that Mr. Rosenberg is no longer on the floor. He was outweighed and outnumbered, so I'm sure he's out now.
Well, just to recapitulate, the last 5 minutes down here have been taken up by what I think we could call technically a free-for-all that was finally broken up by the Chicago police, who came on the floor of this convention into the hall and dragged out the people who were disputing the issue.